Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good whatever state you're in, and welcome to the latest round of the Race Department Touring Car Championship here at Curitiba, here on Automobilista. We're currently in the warm-up just ahead of the first of two half-an-hour races in today's contests, and it's certainly going to be very exciting. My name's Dan Marr. I'm going to be bringing you through the coverage here today. Hopefully I'll have one or two guests with me along the way, but currently into warm-up, getting ready for the race we just had qualifying. And there's a few interesting notes to take away from this meeting, of course. It turns out Sean Allen, our championship leader, is actually absent from tonight's races, which will leave him with some significant work to do for the rest of the season, given the points scoring system. Well, he is currently on 199 points, but Jamie Pyatt, who is currently in second place in the championship, is on 195. So I don't think it's even four. It's 4-point gap between those two. That's certainly not going to be like that come the end of the first race. And I've been given some interesting information. I've been told a certain person called Son Levi is one to keep an eye on, as he's incredibly fast and a three-time Race Department League racing champion. Super dominant driver. He'll be taking Tony Benelli's place in the number 6 APA Racing entry. And as you say that, he is one to watch. Why? 6/10 clear of everyone else. That's right. So 1 minute 28.596 was 6.606 ahead of Matt Legale in second place. It's going to be fine, and it's going to be an incredible battle. And it's going to be interesting to see what turns out over the course of the two races. That's a significant gap, of course. It's not all like that throughout the field. It's not usually this spread out, and I can tell you actually, the next four cars were then separated by less than 0.2 of a second. So Sun just happened to install his rather large steely ones for this particular race meeting. Anyway, so Matt Legale will be starting in second place for race 1, with Brody Steen lining up behind him. He was merely 0.05 of a second behind him. Chris Stacey, Roaring Pipes Maniac team, will be in fourth place. Jamie Pyatt, our not championship leader yet, of course, second place in the championship. He lines up in fifth place. Kevin Harris in the Redback Racing Car will be lining up in sixth. Michael Steed will be lining up in seventh place. Sean Rogers in eighth. Sam Smith in ninth. Running out the top 10 is Jeremy Talbot. Ashley Cowan is in 11th place. Fred Locklear left it very late to move up from 16th up to 12th place. Sean Jacobs, who is also a stand-in driver as well, filling in for Ollie McGowan in the number 113 Speedy Mike Racing outfit. Of course, we've seen some great stuff from him in the past here on Race Department. He'll be starting in 13th place. Andrew Scott will be in 14th place. 15th place will be for Pavel Koshkin. Edward Rocket will be starting in 16th. Glenn Collins in 17th. 18th is Alex Schmertz. Martin Vindis will be starting in 19th. Steve Legale will be starting in 20th. And Fabrice will be starting in 21st. And certainly, it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, warm-up in at the moment. And as we head not too long now until race 1, in fact we've got 5 minutes and 41 left on the counter. Let's have a bit of a look as to what's going on. So obviously we've mentioned the overall championship lead at the moment. The top 4 positions in the championship are covered by just 9 points, and then it's only about 20 points between 21 points covers the top 8, so it's not exactly loose in any way, shape or form at the moment here in the Race Department Touring Car Championship Season 11. And let's talk roughly about the Team Championship as well. Of course, APA starting on pole position, APA 1, who are in 4th place with 320 points. But the leaders in the Championship at the moment, 386 points, racing on Oz Motorsport. They're not too far ahead of Roaring Pipes Maniacs. In fact, they're only 13 points ahead of Roaring Pipes Maniacs, who will be starting in 2nd place in the Championship table. And if we actually look onto the grid as well, It's Racing on Oz ahead of Roaring Pikes Maniac in 3rd and then 4th. AP2 start a little bit further back as well. And as I just quickly cycle through everything on my phone, because having all the images ready is always good, isn't it? So yes, so obviously it will be Roaring Pikes Maniacs who are 2nd in the championships, Tin Shed Racing on 344 points, April 1 will be starting in 4th, LG Racing in 5th, Speedy Mike Racing in 6th, 7th April 2, Redback Racing is in 8th, 2K F1 Racing is in 9th place, and 10th place is Bad Cat Racing Team. So, it's lining up, it's quite exciting, quite interesting over the course of the next few races here tonight. 2 half-an-hour races. It's going to be an interesting one. The Curitiba circuit, oh so familiar nowadays. Of course, we first saw it in the likes of Race 07 and Race 06 with the World Touring Car Series when they used to race back in Brazil. And it's a very popular circuit, very, very fast, massive long straights. It's really going to suit these cars for the wonderful slipstreaming battles that we're expecting here over the next hour or so. And in fact, if we can go on board with someone, we can actually have a bit of a look. I'm looking at Jeremy Pyatt now, so let's see where he's at the moment. So he's coming through the SA Debatia Bikes, I believe, which is the first chicane. And of course, driver's briefing earlier today mentioned that just because it's a tight first corner, it's still going to be looked at, still going to be investigated. If you're not going to be cautious and you do cause a little bit of a mishap, then you will be investigated by the race stewards, and that will not end particularly well. So obviously for them, all the drivers are going to have to be quite cautious. There's some very big stopping zones, like for example coming into the Pinahirino here at the moment, which is a very long left-hander, tight left-hander, very slow left-hander, but there is a lot of room, and the apex sort of moves around you. Then you've got the SA de Alto, which is the wonderful left-right, very quick chicane, really tests a driver's feel for the car, because you can put so much load on the front tyres and the rear tyres, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. You've got to be really good to balance the car, and of course you've got this wonderful Vittoria corner, which is the final corner of the very long right-hander. Get a great run out of here, you can get a really good tow, you can get past someone coming up to the start-finish line, net alone the first corner. Get it wrong through there though, and you are going to be in there for a long, long time. So it's going to be different, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So currently Jamie Pye in the lead of the session, 0.177 of a second ahead of Son Levi in 2nd place. The two APA boys, albeit in 2 different APA teams. Matt Legale doing a bit of a start as well. Matt Legale doing a bit of a demo start as well, just to see what's going on. And it's good that they're trying to figure out what's the kind of rev range and the best way to get these cars off the line. They can be quite tricky, of course. These motorbike engines, they don't weigh a lot. Not that much torque, a lot of power, but not that much torque. They don't weigh much, so obviously you've got to try and find the best balance of clutch biting point. And here there's someone who's gone behind the barriers. Oh dear. That's quite interesting. Anyway, so that was Sam Smith who went grass over. I'm afraid I can't actually see the replay, so what happened there, but if we can get a chance, we will get a chance to have a look. Every little helps. So yes, we're not too long now away from the rest of the end of the session. 44 seconds until the end of this warm-up session, and then we'll go on to our first race of the day. And in terms of predictions, you can't really count out Son Levi. And it was a fantastic qualifying for him. 0.6 of a second ahead of everyone else. That's not a lot, but that would equate as I was talking to a couple of people before. Oh, Sean Rogers gets a bit of a spin. That would equate to about 1.5 seconds in more normal sized cars. So that is a tremendous gap. He drove the wheels off that thing to get it into the position he's in. But if he doesn't get a good start, he can get bogged down. You've got to go and fight through the traffic. It's a long lap. It's a quick lap, but a long lap nonetheless. So traffic not going to be as much of an issue as you might expect, say somewhere as Brands Hatch Indy or wherever. So you're going to have to deal with that less, but still it's a very challenging track, and you've got to mind what goes on, and you just got to be a bit careful as to how it all happens. So it's certainly going to be a fantastic challenge for the drivers tonight. So that's the end of the warm-up. We'll be going into the first race here at Curitiba for the Race Department Touring Car Championship, rounds 5 and 6, the third meeting, rounds 5 and 6 of the championship, coming up very shortly indeed. So at the end of that session though, Son Levi did actually go fastest at the end, 1 minute 28.776. He was only 4 tenths ahead of Jamie Pyatt in the end, which that means his domination must be gone, surely. But me dropping my cynicalism for just a second, it's here we go, into the race. We will go 30 minutes ahead of us, and they might be getting closer to Son Levi, but Son Levi has still got the pace in that car. Ignore the fact his car says Tony Benelli, that is definitely Son Levi, very, very quick indeed. But Matt Legale will put up a very good fight indeed, and then of course Barry Steen will be starting, or Brody Steen, I do apologise, Brody, will be starting in third place overall, as the car's now heading up onto the grid, and we will be very shortly going on to the formation lap ahead of the 5th encounter of the season, round number 5 for the third meeting of season 11. On the grid, driver is waiting, and we'd love to hear what you've got to say. Of course, you can still engage and get in touch with the stream. You can comment on our Twitch streams, our YouTube streams as well. I believe we're at Race Department on Twitter, as well as at MR14, hashtag RDTCC, if you want to get in touch with me and Race Department. See if what you guys got to say on the racing here tonight. And onto the formation lap we go. So it will be Son Levi who will be starting on pole position. Matt Legale will be starting on the front row with him, with Brody Steen and Chris Stacey starting 3rd and 4th. 5th and 6th go to Jamie Pyatt and Kevin Harris. Michael Steed and Sean Rogers will be going in 7th and 8th. Sam Smith and Jeremy Talbot in 9th and 10th. 11th will go to Ashley Cowan. Fred Locklear will be in 12th. 13th for Sean Jacobs. 14th for Andrew Scott. Pavel Koshkin will be in 15th. Edward Rocket will be starting in 16th place. Glenn Collins will be in 17th. 18th for Alex Smirch. Martin Vindis will be in 19th. 20th for Steve Legale. 21st will be Fabrice Bourignon. And Glenn Collins, in fact, Glenn Collins isn't on the grid, so 17th place will not be for him, so that's a big shame for him. That means we're then down to 20 racers to start this race. Nonetheless, it will be a very exciting, very tasty opening first race here at Curitiba at 12 o'clock UK time, which I believe is 21:00 or 9 o'clock in the AEST that we're running to, of course, the Australian time for the Race Department Touring Car Championship. Up to the grid they come now. That final temperature into the cars, into the tyres, getting ready, getting into their positions. And Glenn Collins is at the end of the pit lane, in fact. So we do have our full complement, but he'll be starting at the very back of the grid, behind everyone else. Oh, there seems to be a bit of contact maybe on the warm-up lap there with Edward Rocket, who's going to move up into his position. And as everyone gets settled into the rhythm, patiently waiting. Not the biggest grid. For someone like Son Levi, though, being there for so long will only make his nerves more and more difficult. As we get into position then, round 5 of the Race Department Touring Car Championship Season 11. Red lights come on now. Lights out then, and away we go. It's a decent start by Son Levi, but Matt Legale is going to follow him. In fact, he's got a better start. Matt Legale is going to challenge him around the outside, coming up to turn 1 for the first time. The first chicane, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Legale? Levi's got the inside line. Chris Stacey looked like he had a bit of a look though. Legale runs very deep. Is he going to take the position? No, he doesn't. Son Levi just about takes it. Someone runs off in the background. But Chris Stacey has lost one position already. Brody Steen ahead of him. Jamie Pyatt's going to follow him, though, up into third place. But it is Son Levi by half an inch, I'd say at the most, in the lead of the race. As Glenn Collins gets away now up to the second corner, which is the Entrada di Miolo, and up towards the first couple of hairpins then as well on this first lap. Son Levi's made the best of his escape, and Chris Stacey struggling a little bit once again. He's now down into 5th place. Michael Steed, though, he just manages to avoid losing another place, so he does get up back into 5th place, I believe. And Son Levi already pulling out a massive gap on everyone else, as Brody Steen fires it up the inside, coming through the S's for the first time. Brody Steen makes it through on Matt Legalle. Matt Legalle down into 3rd place. 4th place for Jamie Pyatt, and Chris Stacey once again fights off Michael Steed. He's also got Keith Harris behind him, so it's a real train at the moment, but Son Levi's using the best of his escape. What's the gap going to be over the line? It's going to be 1.3 seconds. My goodness, that is a big gap indeed. He's really pushing. 1.6, in fact. I do apologise. So, the battle for the lead isn't really existing, but Matt Legalle up the inside, driver's right-hand side, coming into the chicane for the second time here in the first race, makes it through, back up into 2nd place. He goes, Jamie Pyatt trying to follow him through, just puts his nose ahead, can't quite do it though. Steen retains the 3rd place. Chris Stacey now trying to follow him through. So, Pyatt versus Stacey now. What was the battle for 2nd place almost now becomes the battle for 4th place. You've got to attack and defend. That is the worst position a driver can be in. Keith Harris up the inside as well of Michael Steed. Doesn't quite work. In fact, yes, it does. Just about keeps it through. A little nudge of contact. Nonetheless, keeps the position. All good there. Brody now having to think about defending for 3rd place into the hairpin. It's a very tricky one. The track sort of curves where you expect the apex to be. There's just more and more track. It's inviting for drivers to try and pass you through there, which is a fantastic feeling when you're attacking. When you're defending, though, it's an absolute nightmare. Through the S's they come for the second time, and it is just about settled. Stacey now really trying to push now for 4th place. Brody Steen having to make a quite a good escape. Meanwhile, the race leader, once again, has just absolutely romped away with this. He's going to be well over 2 seconds over the line. In fact, he starts lap 3 now. 2.2 seconds is the gap between himself and Matt Legalle. Matt Legalle after some initial defending, but Chris Stacey is up the inside for 4th place. Into the chicane, gets it done by the braking zone, hits the apex very nicely indeed. Brody Steen runs a bit deep though, might have been quite inviting. Doesn't push too hard though, so 4th place, up 1 position there for Chris Stacey. Behind the midfield battle, it's absolutely stunning. We're looking at Talbot for 10th place, Locklear, Talbot and Cowan. And as they head up towards the Entrada di Miolo for the 3rd time in this race, Cowan trying to look up the inside, having to defend from Sean Jacobs as well. So 2-3 wide, in fact. Locklear and Talbot go side by side, a little bit of door-to-door, nose-to-nose rubbing. Nonetheless, both make it out perfectly fine. So Cowan up into 10th place, Locklear down to 11th. Meanwhile, there's a big old queue for 3rd place. Brody Steen not really able to hold off everyone else. But Jamie Pyatt, our potential championship leader, is really having to defend hard from Michael Steed, who puts a big move up the inside. Doesn't quite work coming into the final corner. That's the issue with the final corner, is you can try and make a great move up the inside at one part, compromise your exit, and you've got the whole start-finish line to have to defend from it. So it's do you risk it, do you not? He elected to, and as a result, Chris Stacey has made his clear his escape as well. But Son Levi at the moment just doing an absolutely phenomenal job, staying as far away as he could. We said he could be close, and it might not be that close. Well, I may have deceived you a little bit there, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise. However, we've still got some fantastic racing here. For example, the battle for 10th place once again. Locklear now in the tow of Cowan up towards the Entrada di Miolo. Can't quite make a move, not close enough. Talbot though is going to have a go. We saw how close these guys were getting at Autumn Park a few weeks ago. But for now, it's a case of not follow the leader, but just wait over a little bit more patiently. Wait more patiently, throw it up when they don't expect it to, and it might put them into a bit of a mistake. But nonetheless, it has... if you make them make a mistake, you can always be susceptible to making a mistake yourself. And Talbot's finding it out now. Locklear, who's trying to put a move on Cowan, now having to defend from Jeremy, who is on a charge at the moment. Sean Jacobs behind him as well. About a car length between the two of them. And Cowan goes wide. Cowan went wide, didn't quite compromise his exit too much. But poor old Fred will be sitting in his car and thinking, my goodness, he's doing all kinds of things. He's running off and I can't quite get back up to him. So he's having to try and wait quite patiently. The back straight is a fantastic opportunity. Try and get a good slipstream. Cowan goes, he moves to the middle of the circuit. Locklear, a little bit of contact. He moves to driver's left-hand side though. Can he go around the outside? He's trying his absolute hardest to make the move. Runs very deep though into the chicane. Does make it though, although Cowan gets a bit of a contact from Talbot. Cowan goes very wide over the grass into the gravel. Keeps it out of the barrier. What a shame for him. Still can't quite stop spinning the car out. And has fallen to the almost the very back of the grid. 20th place after a little bit of contact with Talbot. It does seem like braking into that chicane can be very tricky at the best of times. If you get the nudge at the wrong part of the car, it can make it unload, it can spin him, and that's just what happened, I'm afraid. And we've lost what was a great battle there. Meanwhile, 6th and 7th place, it's Keith Harris versus Brodie Steen, who started, don't forget, down in 3rd place, so he's having a bit of a nightmare at the moment. And Keith side by side through the S's, Brodie Steen on driver's right hand side at the apex. He's also got the inside line coming into the final corner. Better run now from Harris though, all the way around the outside, can secure him 6th place, although he's now going to be the leader in terms of the slipstream. He's going to be the one punching the hole in the air, which means we've got 4 cars behind him, 3 cars behind him in total for a 4-car battle, which are all going to follow him. Sean Rogers is going to be loving this. In fact, they're going to be going 3 wide coming into the chicane. Be careful, boys, up the inside. And Sean Rogers runs very deep indeed. Contact with Brodie Steen. He runs him over the curb. And just about keeps a position. A very late move there from Sean Rogers. Tried to brake as hard as he could. Just a little bit too late. Pushes him out wide. Nonetheless, he's up to 7th place in Keith Harris, who's now having to defend from Sam Smith. Sean Rogers up towards the 2nd corner. Intrada Di Miolo up the inside. Very late manoeuvre. Can get it stopped, although the car's going to wash out at the 2nd point of the apex. Brodie Steen's going to try and use that as an advantage. He does. Little bit of contact between the two. Driver's left hand side, another bit of contact. Keith Harris is going to try and follow them. Now up to the tight left-hander. All 3 of them big lockups there. And Keith Harris just runs out of road. Down to 9th place he goes. Nonetheless, you don't want to be locking up the tyres too much. Of course, flat spot simulation in Automobilista as well. That car is not going to be feeling too good. And we have still got 22 minutes of this race left to go, so with damaged tyres that's a long time to be going. But Sean Rogers up into 6th place, 7th place for Sam Smith as well, so teammates working together to get the best possible manoeuvre. Anyway, 3rd place, Pyatt into 3rd, but it's a really big battle between himself, Steed, and also Chris Stacey up towards the 1st corner. Those 3 go. And Michael Steed tries to do it around the outside at the chicane on Jamie Pyatt. Yep, just about does it. Runs deep though. They're still side by side, and Chris Stacey is caught up once again. So this train, once again, 3 cars, Pyatt and Stacey doing a proper NASCAR bump draft as they come up towards the Entrada de Miolo. Up the inside, 3 wide. Chris Stacey on the driver's right hand side, runs out of road, locks up a little bit though. Pyatt definitely gets the best of the escapes and makes it back up into 3rd place. Keith Harris on the move once again though, from 9th to 8th place. He's got past Sam Smith, so Brodie Steen is now next on his list of people to overtake. Again, big lockups from the likes of Brodie Steen. They're pushing these front tyres very hard indeed. You don't want to be doing that too much, obviously, because you're going to be the potential to damage your tyres, and it's going to be very tight indeed. Speaking of tight, the battle for 11th place. Edward Rocket currently heads up that train with Sean Jacobs up the inside coming through the S's. On the left-hand side, he's got the inside line. A little bit of contact. Pavel Koshkin has tried his best to get up the inside. In fact, he's got the move. Sean Jacobs tries to run out wide. He might get two moves here. Koshkin for the price of one. He's moved up into 12th place. Jeremy Talbot now in the tow as he tries to get 14th. Edward Rocket in the unfortunate position of head of the train. Sean Jacobs moves the driver's right-hand side and then elects to go back as Pavel Koshkin now thinks about the move. Can he make the move? Edward Rocket goes all the way to the right-hand side to defend. Stops it at the chicane, although one's a little bit deep. Koshkin over the curb. One curb, two curbs. Not quite over the third curb to try and catch up. Talbot's trying to make the move for 14th. Koshkin's trying to make the move for 11th. And Talbot is now into 13th. He just got a much tighter run out of the chicane, which then meant Sean Jacobs could back out just a little bit. Talbot running very deep into the back of Rocket. That was Koshkin who went into the back of Rocket. My apologies. So it was Edward Rocket now who's having to defend big style from Pavel Koshkin. Up towards the very tight left-hander. Not a late move from either of them. Sean Jacobs absolutely out of nowhere. Big contact with Pavel Koshkin. Pushes him out wide. 3 places he's lost. Sean Jacobs must have missed his braking point effectively to really make that kind of push. But for Edward, that's going to breathe a bit of a sigh of release. I think he's just had the opportunity to breathe once again. But a quick recap as we near the halfway stage in this race. 8 laps gone, and the gap 5.4 seconds is the gap between Son Levi and Matt Legale. Jamie Pyatt, though, is not enjoying the same success on Michael Steed. He runs very deep and locks up coming into the chicane, and Michael Steed takes the position at his loss. Just came into the chicane quite hot, front right tyre, which of course is the unloaded tyre as you're turning in. Just a little bit too much pressure on it, locks up, runs deep, and Michael Steed takes the position away from him. Nonetheless, though, as they come up towards the tight left-hander, the Pininfarina is going to be an interesting move as Pyatt maybe looks up the inside, doesn't on this occasion, chooses not to. Michael Steed now the one making the bit of a lock-up, just pushing the car out a bit wide. Tidier exit from Jamie. And Pyatt on Steed for 3rd place. Is looking like a great battle. So, though, is a battle for 7th place. Keith Harris now up into 7th place. Brady Steed 8th. And Sam Smith down in 9th. Through the S's they come. And Brady trying to get his nose ahead. Can't quite do it, though. You've got to really use the late braking capabilities of these cars to make a move. You can't just edge your nose in because you're going to edge your wheel in. So, Keith Harris in 7th place at the head of the queue. It's a 3-car train for 7th place. They both move out of the tow. Brody on driver's right-hand side. He's no longer got that tow. Sam Smith has, though, and he's closing in really quickly. Up to the chicane they come. And Brody in 7th place now. He takes a position, locks up quite deep, though. Keith Harris is going to see that as a signal of intent to try and get past. Can't quite do it, though. Chris Stacey up into 5th place ahead of Sean Rogers at the moment. But Sean is looking very racy indeed in that entry. And then obviously the battle for 3rd place still raging on between Steed and Pyatt. Keith Harris now once again battling though with Brody. Just about through again. Whoa, a bit of contact between the two of them, which means Sam Smith is now going to make his way through up towards the hairpin. And in fact, yes, he does. Sam Smith can't quite go around the outside. Not a particularly good move there for Sam, I'm afraid, who drops back a good couple of car lengths on Brody, but nonetheless looks like he's going to catch it back up. A bit of an update as to what's happening elsewhere down the field. We've got Cowan has now made his way back up into 16th. Latest move was on Alex Schmertz, who was down in 17th. Koshkin has dropped back significantly as well. He's down in 15th place, and considering he was battling for 11th just a few laps ago, with Sean Jacobs thinks once or twice about having a move on Rocket through the final corner. It's a shame to see he's dropped back that much. Of course, there was a bit of contact with him at Autumn Park, which put paid to some good results for him potentially. Sean Jacobs though on a charge, trying to go around driver's left-hand side up towards the first corner. Braking as late as they dare, around about 75 metres mark. They both look very deep indeed. Talbot's going to see this in car number 18 and think, you know what, I'm going to have a piece of this. They're almost going to go 3 wide. Rocket still hanging on to 11th place. Some fantastic defending driving from him. As Sean Jacobs literally runs out of road. Rocket tries to give him as little room as possible. You've got to give him some. Jacobs brakes a little bit earlier, uses that to his advantage, makes his way through though. And Sean Jacobs is now into 11th place. Rocket is down to 12th. Steve Legale up into 14th. He's got Talbot ahead of him. And then Rocket ahead of him. Up to the tight left-hander. A very late gasp indeed there from Edward Rocket. He just makes it through. So Edward Rocket once again retakes 11th place. He's defending it like it's his own. He's doing a fantastic job out there. And as they come through the S's once again, first the left, then the right. It's a 5-car train now for 11th place as Koshkin is closed in again. This is what happens. The momentum can change oh so quickly. And Sean Jacobs, once again, they're coming into the final corner. A little bit of contact. Sean Jacobs nose in. There's a massive dent on the right-hand side of Edward's door. So evidently, it's a good job it's a middle driving side car, because he's not going to be able to get out of his right-hand side car. But nonetheless, Sean Jacobs is almost through up to the chicane. Can Talbot throw a very late move up the inside? He's trying it. In fact, he goes very deep. He cuts the chicane. He takes Sean Jacobs with him, who makes contact with Steve Legale. Round go Legale. No, it's Jacobs and Koshkin who go round. Legale just about kept it through. But Koshkin in the gravel gets moving. So does Sean Jacobs. But what a shame. Very late deep braking there from the pair of them. And Koshkin goes round again. Just a little bit too much wheel spin as he rejoined the circuit. And he rejoins in 19th place. So he'll have some moving to do. Cowan now back up to 14th place. Rocket for the now got a good half a second on Talbot, with the Galley straight behind Talbot for 12th and 13th place. Moves up driver's left hand side. Can he make it through? Not quite. So instead Talbot having to defend through the S's, the left and the right. And as they come up towards the final chicane, can Steve make a late gas move? I don't quite think so. But Edward's going to be quite enjoying his little time in the car now. With about 10 minutes of this race left to go. A quick recap of the order. Son Levi in the April 1 car is 8.3 seconds ahead now of Matt Legale in second place. Michael Steed in third. Fourth place now for Jamie Pyatt. Fifth place though is the battle I think we should be looking at the moment. Chris Stacey, Sean Rogers, Kevin Harris, Brody Steen and Sam Smith all tied together. 1 second covers those 5 cars. Yeah, so as they come up towards the hairpin, the left-handed hairpin at the middle part of the sector, Sean Rogers might well go for a late move up to the inside of Chris Stacey. Doesn't go for it. Chris Stacey very deep on the brakes, so a bit of a lock-up. And he's going to have to deal now. Sean is looking very racy indeed behind him in 6th place. Through the S's, traditionally he looks like he gets a better run than Chris Stacey through here, so he's going to have to hold on. He keeps in the tow. He's going to get a really good draft through the final corner and onto the back straight. He's not going to make a move up the inside. He's staying behind for now. Kevin Harris in 7th place as well, just holding back. He's going to get a great run. Sean Rogers is going to get a great run. He pulls out the driver's right-hand side, although then ducks out of it. He thought he had a great run out of the final corner. Not quite good enough, but now he's in the tow. Chris Stacey has to jink to driver's right-hand side. He's got the very tight line coming into the chicane. Sean Rogers up driver's left-hand side. Can it work? Not quite. Chris Stacey leaves it as late to brake as he can, and he does keep the position. So 5th place is still Chris Stacey's just for now. But Sean Rogers is following him in his footsteps as well. The three of them battling really nicely in for 5th place. Looks up the inside, coming into the Entrada di Miolo. Doesn't work on this occasion either. So Chris Stacey, who has to rely on braking very early, just getting it stopped on the apex. He's pushing out the car very wide indeed as he gets onto the exit of that corner, for example, the Entrada di Miolo. And also the hairpin as he goes very deep indeed. Sean Rogers up the inside. Almost takes the position away from him. He did make such a great run, but that wide line really benefited Stacey there as he could get the power down. There was just a bit more grip for him around the outside. As a result, he has to keep on being a bit more patient. Nonetheless, the wide line for Chris Stacey doesn't really reward him at some points, but it's very tempting for a driver who's attacking, thinking he's leaving space all around the circuit. It just gives him more time and more speed out of the corner. And in these cars where momentum is key, that is really what they've got to do. But there is now 3 cars in a line. And as they come up towards the first corner, Sean Rogers in the middle, Stacey on driver's right-hand side, driver's left for Keith Harris. And Stacey, once again, the last of the late breakers. He can just really hit the mark coming into the chicane. And the positions don't change. Something that has changed, though, actually, is Sam Smith is now down into 10th place. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but he has lost a whole chunk of time to the pack he was on just a moment ago, Brody Steen in 8th, with a bit of a gap between himself and these battling 3 ahead of him. Can Sean make the best of the inside line? No, he can't. Of course, he's just watching and seeing what Stacey does. You've got to sit behind him for a little bit to really analyse where he's strong and where he's weak. Coming into the hairpin here, and it's his braking. It's Chris's braking. He just seems to get that front tyre locked up. He's putting a lot of turn in to that front tyre, which is not going to be helping his tyre wear at all. And it just makes the drivers behind a little bit more interested in terms of making a move. Because if he's pushing it to the max, if you go up the inside, he's going to have to back off, realistically. So into the final corner they come once again. We've got about 7 minutes of this race left to go. Currently on lap 14, or lap 15 to start lap 16. Once again, the 3 of them are in a slipstream. They both move out once again. Chris Stacey's relegated to driver's left-hand side. Sean Rogers is making an absolute storm of a move. Keith Harris is going to try and follow him through. Can he go around the outside? Chris Stacey runs very deep indeed. He gets a little bit of a nudge. Sean Rogers up to 5th place. Just a bit of a nudge. Keith Harris is going to follow him through as well. They go side by side. Keith has just taken a position. So, there we go. That was it. Sean Rogers has made the position up into 5th place. As late as he dared, he had to have a bit of help from Chris running a little bit wide going into the chicane. And nonetheless, that means Keith Harris is also going to take 6th place away. So 2 positions, 2 corners for Chris Stacey. And Brody Steen behind him is going to be absolutely loving this. It's making him much closer to these battling guys as well. Keith Harris, for example, as well now, having to stop Chris Stacey. Coming up the inside, a bit of a slide on Chris Stacey. He's getting very impatient, and you can just see how angry he is with the car's body language, the way it jilted to the right as he put power down on the exit of the chicane. You can tell he's not particularly happy in that car. Brody Steen, as we say, just sitting back and waiting, realistically, as they come through now the final corner. And now Keith Harris has got a good run on Sean Rogers, who ducks to driver's right hand side. He ducks back to driver's left hand side. We're just waiting to see what happens. Keith is really trying to go every which way in order to get past. Is he going to get side by side though? He can't quite get the lunge ahead. Sean having the inside line had meant that even if Keith got a much better line around the outside, he would still have to try and make that position up. So that is the battle for 5th place at the moment. The battle for 3rd is not looking too bad indeed, actually. It's between Jamie Pyatt again and Michael Steed, and the pair of them just having a really good ding-dong battle. Not quite as close as the battle we've just been watching, but it's looking quite tasty indeed. Having a look up the inside as well. Sam Smith started closing on Fred Locklear as well, so that battle's slightly turning up now as we get into the later stages of this race. And now Kevin Harris is having to really start thinking about where is he going to get past Rogers, because of course it's not going to happen immediately. You do have to be quite patient with it, but as we see once again, it's Chris Stacey and Brody Steen going side by side over the line. Chris Stacey, great run out of the final corner, which just held Brody at bay. And nonetheless, does keep the position for now. Brody not trying to go quite as deep into the chicane. Leaves it a bit later, a lot more speed into the chicane. But the battle for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th is not getting too feisty at the moment, but it is for 9th and 10th. We're looking at the moment, Locklear versus Smith. Smith, who lost that time, we're not sure why, but nonetheless, is looking very tight indeed, and Locklear does run a little bit deep. A little bit of a pressured lock up there. Could he make a move up the inside of the hairpin? We're coming up to it now, through the right-hander, up towards the left-hander. You can see the racing line moves. Reminds me a bit of that hairpin at Valencia, where you've got two bits to the line. It's similar to that. Sam Smith closed in a heck of a lot. Coming up to the S's now, they're frantically nose to tail. And as they go through the right, now the left. And running over the grass is not going to help his exit at all. And through the final corner, you've got to be patient through there. And when we can get off the exit, as they're doing it now. In the toe he goes. He's going to try and move driver's right-hand side. They're wheel to wheel, side by side. Sam Smith with the inside line. Can he do it? They're braking around about the 100-metre board. Sam Smith brakes a little bit earlier. He can't quite get to the apex, but he does just get there first. At the first part, he's still side by side though. Fred Locklear had luckily managed to hold on to that very deep into the first aspect of the chicane. And that just meant that he could keep 9th place for now. We've got 2 minutes of this race left to go. 13.1 seconds the gap now between Son Levi and Matt Legale. It's been a fantastically dominant race. And now Edward Rocket, who's down in 15th place now, which is a shame to see. And he's now battling with Alex Schmertz in 16th. Tom Deckers moved up to 14th place, Cowan into 13th. The Legale is now 12th, just behind Talbot in 11th place, coming through the hairpin there. And Sam Smith has made the move on Fred Locklear, so 9th place now for Sam Smith. Chris Stacey and Brody Steen looking extremely racy, bump drafting up towards the first chicane. Is Brody going to make a last lap gunge? Maybe. Although it doesn't on this particular lap, even though Chris Stacey runs very deep indeed. Over the curb and he shortcuts the chicane. Kevin Harris is off as well. Oh my, that's not nice to see Kevin Harris off into the gravel. Carries on down into 8th place. What a shame from him, because that was a fantastic run from him. And with just minutes to go, ran deep, lost the position. And that just means that Sean Rogers in 5th, 6th place now for Chris Stacey, in 7th place for Brody Steen. And we've had 29 out of our 30 minutes. Son Levi about to come over the line. And as we head over the line now, is this going to be the last lap, or is it going to be this? I believe this will be the second last lap. Only 5 seconds to go. So final lap then, we're being told. The game still says it's 20 out of what, so it could be 21 laps we get. So we get this one plus one more. So whilst these battles ensue, Michael Steed in the toe of Jamie Pyatt as they come up towards the first corner. He moves to driver's left-hand side. He's got a great run. Not quite around the outside, I can imagine. Although he's certainly giving it his best shot. He runs deep. Has to just about keeps it on the black stuff. Lost a whole host of time there, though, I'm afraid. So maybe a challenge from him might not be forthcoming. And as they make their way up to the final couple of corners, Matt Legale getting very wide there, in fact. Chris Stacey versus Brody Steen. This is the battle that have been on our minds pretty much since the start of this one. And as they make their way through the next right-hander and up to the left-handed hairpin, is it going to be a late last lunge up the inside? No, it doesn't. Brody Steen goes over the marbles, trying to go up the inside, outside. The cutback, though, that might work. He's trying that, certainly up to 7th place. Can't quite make it through, though, so as the battle for 3rd and 4th not really forthcoming as well. We've got one more lap to go then, and Son Levi 15 seconds ahead of Matt Legale. What a dominant performance, although it is a reverse grid, so the reverse grid for the next one, so it could be a little bit more difficult for him to make a challenge up the inside, or make a challenge to the second race very shortly indeed. Meanwhile, though, 3rd and 4th still going on. Steve trying to go around the outside on the final lap, still gets very deep. Jamie Pyatt keeps the position, and a little bit of a nudge. Very oversteery there for Michael as he tried to get the power down. He just got into the back of the other car, which would not help matters at all. And Brody Steen has made it through on Chris Stacey on the second last lap. So Brody Steen now up into 6th place. So the battle of the 3rd is the one we want to watch. Now, on the last elements of this lap, Son Levi, though, has got one more corner to go, the final corner. And this has been nothing but a dominant performance from the stand-in for Benelli in the Aussie Racing Car. And as he comes up to the line now, what a race from Son Levi. He takes the victory. By what is the gap going to be? Matt Legale just coming through the final corner now, so as they come up towards the line now, the gap at the end would be 15.8 seconds, which was a tremendously big gap. Well done to Son, that was a fantastic race from him. Boring for us in terms of watching, but only in terms of him pushing all the way to the end. But as a driving feat, it was no mean feat at all. Kevin Harris and Sam Smith very tight over the line as well. They can't quite make it. And Fred Locklear will come over the line to make it 10th place for him. Anyway, Steve Legale and Talbot as well, 11th and 12th for them. And on the slowdown lap, everyone just enjoying what a frantic race that was. It was a great race. And that meant Son Levi was the winner. 32 minutes, 50 seconds, 0.31. 15.8 seconds ahead of Matt Legale. Half an hour, and he's drifting as well, is Son Levi. So, although has missed the pit entry, so that was good. But what I really enjoyed that race. I thought it was thoroughly exciting, and it's going to be even more interesting with the reverse grid in just a few moments' time. We'll go into a warm-up session to determine, just to see what else is going on, and then of course we are going to enjoy all the action very shortly indeed. So, and that will be the end of the race as they all come into the pit lane now, and I need to go and have a sip of water, I think, to go and rehydrate my throat. That was a very exciting one. I've thoroughly enjoyed that, and race 2 is only going to be more interesting. So, Make sure you're staying on air because the party's only going to get bigger here at round 3. That was round number 5 of the third meeting of the 11th season of the Race Department Touring Car Championship. As drivers head on into their pit boxes, go into another warm-up session, and I will rejoin you in just a moment's time. And after a bit of a breather, we're going into a warm-up session before we go into race 2, and that means we're joined by Edward Rocket, who had a quite an interesting race in that one.
Yeah, it was stressful at the start of it, defending against just about everyone.
It certainly looked like your door took a bit of a handling, I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, that was more on the formation lap though. Someone spun in front of me. I touched them because I couldn't avoid them, and then someone else clattered my side. But that was before the race, and it just threw me for the grid, so I had a bad start. But then just capitalised on everybody else crashing, and then had to defend for half the race.
I'll say, I noticed you had sadly dropped back a little bit during the very late stages of the races. What happened there?
I just spun at turn 1. It was one of those where I was coming down to turn 1, and I just was thinking, this doesn't feel right, I'm probably going to spin at turn 1, and then I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that it was a case of trying to defend the positions, which was hard when someone's flashing their headlights at you. And then, yeah, it was just went a bit wrong at the end, but it was fun up until my spin.
Of course, Curitiba is a very interesting circuit. Have you driven it on sims before, Automobilista or GameStop car?
I've tried it on R Factor, which didn't really go well because I was trying to drive way too powerful cars for it. But this is really the first time I've properly driven or had a game that I can drive this track on.
So how are you enjoying it then in these ARC cars?
Well, compared to the other races, there's only one corner that can kill me. Turn 1. All the rest of them I can just about do. It's not like Alton or Adelaide where there were lots of really heavy braking points that just didn't suit my driving style in this car. So I'm consistent rather than spinning off this time. So I'm happier. Just need to get a good result.
But of course, the reverse grid for race 2 will definitely throw it up just a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I know that was my plan in that last race, try and get reverse grid pole, but it just didn't quite work out. I'm glad that my spin didn't stop me getting reverse grid pole because the best 11th otherwise. I don't know. I'm just going to go flat out and try not to cause any incidents and hopefully capitalise for other people's incidents.
Well, it's certainly going to be an interesting one to see, and it's a shame. Hopefully, you can get through the formation lap without having without collecting someone this time.
Yeah, well, I didn't cause the crash that we had, so
No,
it's not my problem really. I just got involved in somebody else's mistakes.
but it is going to be an interesting race, I believe. I think
Oh
it
yeah,
was
no, it's gonna be fantastic because well, the guys at the front who are now 9th and 10th were so much quicker than everyone else. So watching them come through the top 10 is going to be interesting, especially if they had a bad start. Um,
because Son Levi won the race by 15.8 seconds or something like that. So
to be honest, I'm surprised it's that small. I reckon he'll be at the front by lap 3. I can, if that.
well, it's
So,
going to be an interesting one.
oh yeah, no, it's going to be enjoyable.
And
So
yeah, so well, thank you very much, Edward. We'll leave you to your race, and hopefully, unlike last time, we won't give you the commentator's curse, but we'll look forward to seeing you out in this race, of course, and we'll just see how well it goes.
yeah, well, last time I spoke to you, it went well for me. So
Oh, well, there we go then.
there we go. All right.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Edward. That was Edward Rocket joining us in the commentary booth, and we've not got very long in warm-up left, about 5 minutes or so. So, yeah, we'll just see how it all pans out. We've only had 2 drivers to actually set lap times in that one. We've got Glenn Collins and also Edward Rocket, who we were just speaking to, was driving out there whilst he was talking to us. So, very good at multitasking there. So, nonetheless, it's going to be an interesting one. So yes, race 2. I'm really not sure what I'm going to expect. So Edward says that around about lap 3 is when he expects Sun Levi and co going to be at the very top of the field. I'm not entirely sure how long it will take them. It's one thing to just drive off into the distance once you've actually started the race and doing really, really well. But of course, you've got to take into account, obviously, you've got to deal with traffic. You actually got to bear in mind you've got to fight through as opposed to just having the clean air that he had all race. But nonetheless, it is going to be fascinating. And as we come up towards the end of this warm-up session for the next race, I'm really not sure what I'm expecting, as I keep saying. But yes, do feel free to get in contact with us here on the broadcast. Of course, it's great to hear what you guys have to say as well, because you guys, of course, you'll probably do more actual racing than I do on Automobilista. I do think Automobilista is a fantastic sim. Which is going to be a fantastic thing to watch. And it's a great... I do quite enjoy racing in Automobilista. I personally find it's quite interesting. And it's very good for the force feedback. And of course, these cars are great to drive because they're just so, not challenging, but it's so close. It's like the Legends racing in the UK where you get just everyone's so close and you've got to really work hard to do it. So yes, it's at Race Department if you want to come and join us in the broadcast. In fact, we'll head over to racedepartment.com to come and have a bit of a look and see what people are saying on the comments as well. I'll tell you what's quite interesting as well is, of course, racedepartment.com. We do have lots, in fact, plenty of stuff going on for club racing, we do. We have an R Factor 2 race later on tonight. And of course, we've got R Factor 2 races tomorrow. We've got Assetto Corsa, Race Room Racing, of course, R Factor 1 as well as R Factor 2. And of course, we've got Automobilista racing all week and every week. Just come on over to racefarm.com, come and sign up, and you can come and enjoy our fantastic society and group we've got here. And I'll tell you what's more interesting is the fact you get to try several different races before you can really yeah, so you can do lots of different things, try a few races before you actually decide to come and sign up full time with us. It's not very expensive to come and join our premium membership, and of course you can then join any racing you want. So if you like Automobilista, if you like just cycling through simulators, it will always be an exciting one to see, and it'll be nice to see you guys there. So as we head up to the end of the warm-up session, we will see how this all goes. So just to recap then, what is going on with the this current session? It's Kevin Harris who is in the lead of the session, 1 minute 30.219. Chris Stacey in second place, who said at that time good enough for second, 130.402, which is 183 ahead of, or 183 behind, and Brody Steen is 189 behind Kevin Harris. So that's what, there's going to be 6 tenths, yeah, 6 thousandths of a second. And as we there you go, the clock ticks down to 0. Warm-up session is now over. There we go. We'll be going into the second race in just a moment's time. And here we go. Race 2 will be starting in just under a minute's time. And as we get prepared for everyone to come and join the grid. The reverse grid, which is only reversed the top 9, means that it will be Sam Smith who starts on pole position, ahead of Kevin Harris. Row 2 will be formed up of Chris Stacey and Brody Steen. Row 3 will be Sean Rogers and Michael Steed. Row 5 will comprise of Matt Legale and Son Levi. In fact, let me try that again. So the row 3 will be Brody Steen and Sean Rogers. Row 4 will be Michael Steed and Jamie Pyatt. Row 5 will be Matt Legale and Son Levi. Well there you go, that's the answer why. So Fred Locklear should have been starting on pole position, but has been disconnected from the session. We only have 20 then starting this race. So Sam Smith will be starting on pole position because of that disconnection, which means Kevin Harris will be moving up into second place, who's also not on the grid. So it will be Sam Smith who will be starting first. Might be a gap where Kevin Harris should be. Chris Stacey is now moving up into second place because of the disconnect for him as well. Brody Steen will be moving up therefore to third place. Fourth place for Sean Rogers. Fifth place will be Michael Steed. Sixth for Jamie Pyatt. Seventh for Matt Legale then. Eighth place will be Son Levi, which means he's got less work to do. Eighth place for him. Ninth place now for Jamie Talbot. Steve Legale will be in 10th. 11th place for Ashley Cowan. Sean Jacobs will be in 12th. 13th for Edward Rocket. Martin Vindis then moves up into 14th place. 15th place for Pavel Koshkin. 16th place for Andrew Scott, 17th place for Alex Schmertz, 18th place for Glenn Collins, 19th place therefore will be Fabrice Bourgnon, and that is your grid of 19 racers. So as we move up to the final corner, this is going to be an exciting race. With a bit of luck, we'll keep everyone in for this one as well. And we move up to the grid then. At the end of the formation lap, ready to start the second half an hour race of the evening. And onto the grid markings, here comes Sam Smith. Chris Stacey will start in third, so there's a gap between Sam Smith and Chris Stacey. Brody Steen can see that he's going to have a great start. He's got to get a great run in order to challenge the leader, although it is very, very possible indeed. The red lights come on now. And round 6 of the championship gets underway here. There we go. Blast off then for these little pocket rockets. Sam Smith makes a good enough start to stay in the lead. Chris Stacey made a decent start as well. Up towards the first corner. And Brody Steen's going to have to deal with Michael Steed trying to go at the inside. And as they all come into the chicane for the first time, everyone being that little bit more careful. And as we all make it through cleanly, he says, yeah, in fact they all do. So Sam Smith starts and is in the lead of the race. Chris Stacey though looking up the inside, coming into the Entrada di Miolo for the first time. And in fact Chris Stacey takes the lead. So Chris Stacey now in the lead of the race, just 2 corners in. Sam Smith already having to defend from Michael Steed as well, up towards the hairpin for the first time. Sam Smith having a bit of a look at the inside, a bit of contact that pushes both of them wide. Michael Steed therefore goes through into the lead of the race after a potentially clumsy move there from Sam, who's now dropped down to 4th place. Just ran deep, trying to get past, and that's all you need, a little bit of contact and it can push the other car ahead as well, and they've lost a few positions. Michael Steed therefore will lead, coming over the line with our 3 leaders on this opening lap of the race. And as they come through the final corner now, and Son Levi is still in 8th place, who's actually not made any positions, so a little bit of patience will go a long way. Jamie Pyatt now trying to look at the inside of Sam Smith, down towards the corner for the first corner for the second time of asking. Chris Stacey moving up the inside as well though, leaves it as late as he dares, a bit of a lock-up. Michael Steed running wide, that's good enough for Chris Stacey to retake his lead. And now Son Levi's also gone through on Sam Smith, so Sam Smith lost another 2 positions at the first corner. Although someone else on the move is Matt Legale, trying to go the inside of Sean Rogers into the second corner. It can't quite make it through, I don't believe. Up through the apex they go, lap 2. In fact, Matt Legale is indeed through, up into 5th place. So a good opening 2 laps from him. Michael Steen trying to look at the inside. Steed looking at the inside, a bit of a contact there again with Chris Stacey, but he can make it through, doesn't push him wide. Therefore, as they make their way up to the S's again, and Chris Stacey down to 2nd place, Michael Steed takes the lead again. And Brady Steen making 3rd place his at the moment, ahead of Pyatt. Matt Legale ran wide in 5th place, trying to challenge for 4th. Didn't quite work as they come through the final corner once again to start lap 3. The field overall is much, much tighter indeed. And once again, Chris Stacey going to go for the inside line up to the first corner. Brady Steen having to watch on by. Can he make a move? Yes, he can. He's going for a late lunge at the inside. It doesn't quite work, but it does. Brady Steen does make it up into 3rd place, into 2nd place even. Although the exit wasn't quite so good from him compared to Michael. So Michael takes the position once again. And Chris Stacey, a decent gap for the lead from him. Up towards the the hairpin once again. A big lock up from him. Steed takes second. Pyatt up the inside for third on Steed. It was quite a deep move from him. Didn't quite work, but it was a case of looking at the inside when he could challenge. Was trying certainly very hard indeed. Now the move couldn't be made. Now the move wasn't actually made. It's Steen who's challenging for second place. Matt Legale though up the inside, coming into the final corner on Pyatt. Again, doesn't quite work. You've got to be careful. You've got to try and keep the momentum because Son Levi goes side by side for fifth. He's going to get a tremendous run out of the final corner. So fifth place is so far what he can muster, can he? No, backs out of it. They all stay in the slipstream. It's much easier that way. Can he make a late lunge up the inside? No is the answer. He can't. So once again, Chris Stacey in the lead of the race. Michael Steed trying to be as tight as he can. And it is quite close indeed. Up towards the second corner. Late lunge. Maybe. No, not quite. And we can see the battle is developing quite patiently. Steen runs deep, which means Pyatt could close him out. The Galley's got Levi all over the back of him as well. Is he going to try and make a move? Not quite. And it is a 6-car train for the lead of the race, so it is much closer than it was in the first race. As they make their way up towards the final corner, Levi once again trying to make a move up the inside. He's now into fifth place and he's secured it this time. Matt Legale, who didn't have the best of corners there, lost the position overall and is now down into sixth place. So Son Levi now up into fifth, and he's got Pyatt ahead of him, and he is closing very quickly indeed. Late lunge would be too much to ask for, although he might well go for it. He doesn't in the end. He brakes a little bit earlier to roll off the throttle and get deeper into the corner. Hits it very aggressively. And Chris Stacey, who runs a little bit deep again. Steed is trying to go for the lead once again, but Levi's trying to go for fourth place after that fantastic dominant display. This is not what we expected, but he is going and trying very hard indeed. And now very late move for Levi to go out the inside for fourth place. Can't quite get it stopped to the apex though. He ran quite deep. The car didn't want to stop coming up to the chicane, so as they come up towards the hairpin, and Chris Stacey once again locking that front left really hard. It must just be the unloaded tyre. It doesn't seem to be doing him too much damage, but Steed is closing in. Currently on lap 5. 7 minutes gone, and already we're seeing that this battle for the lead just isn't going to go away anytime soon. So as they make their way up towards the final corner once again. Is anything going to happen of it? Anything going to be made out of it? No, it's not. You can see that he's in the tow. He is starting to close in very quickly indeed over the line. The gap's about 2 car lengths. He's got the tow. He's got a great move. Can he do it? Not quite. Unless he makes a last lunge up the inside. And now Son Levi's made his move for third place. He made a very late move on Bodie Steen, which then meant he's now up into third place. Race 1 winner, now up onto the podium. How long is it going to be before he challenges for the lead? I can't imagine it will be too long, so we should realistically start thinking about it. Although, Pyatt 5th, Matt Legale 6th. So it is quite tight for third place once again. Fourth place battle is also looking quite good. And Chris Stacey is still in the lead of the race. Good couple of car lengths. In the middle portion of the lap, he seems to be doing very well on, but struggles a bit as we get onto the later elements. So the faster stuff, Chris just doesn't seem to be as quick through. So as they make their way up towards the final corner once again, Steed's going to have to quite enjoy a good run, although he's got Levi all over the back of him, running a bit deep, not quite as quick through there as son Levi was. He's going to get the toe. My sneaking suspicion is he's going to make a move coming into the first corner. He's practically all over the back of him now, and this is halfway through the start-finish line. Go to driver's right-hand side. Going to leave it as late as he dares. Not quite. He does roll off it a little bit early. But then again, he can sense what's happening. So as they come up towards the lead now, it's almost 3 for the lead. Son Levi trying the best out of absolutely everyone. He is all over the back of Steed and Stacey, just having a little bit of breathing space. Not a lot, but a bit. And Levi trying to go the inside, coming into the hairpin. Is it going to work? No, it isn't. He's as tight as he dares, but he couldn't quite get his nose through. So as they make their way through the S's once again. And the recap then, a third of the way through the race. And Brody Steen, oh my goodness, Steen had just made some kind of mistake. The car sort of locked up. Did he go into the wrong gear? Did he go down instead of up? I'm not entirely sure, because it just all of a sudden snapped on him. But it's three-way battle for the lead. Chris Stacey's a sitting duck. They're going to go 3 wide into the first corner. Can Son Levi take the move up here now? He brakes a little bit earlier. Steed definitely is going to take the lead. Yes, he does. Stacey slows through a little bit, almost lost second place to Son Levi, but did not. He luckily managed to keep that as well. So Stacey down into second place, and Steen down into 4th place. He's got Pyatt and Smith behind him, who are very close indeed as well. It's going to be an interesting one to see what happens. But as they make their way up to the hairpin once again, on the exit they come. And the cutback, is it going to work for Chris Stacey? He certainly tried, although Steed is better through here, I thought, than Stacey was. Trying to make a move through the S's. That's quite brave there, Chris. You're putting yourself at serious risk against Son Levi. He's not quite on the back of him. But as they make their way through the final corner, a bit of a lock up there from Steed. He runs very deep indeed. Chris Stacey is going to try and take the advantage. He is. He's in the toe. He's closer than he was the whole portion of the lap. The both of them, him and Levi, are going to try and make their move up towards the first corner. Levi's a bit boxed in though. He's only got the wall to go to, really. So Stacey is going to keep a hold of the position for second. Is he going to go for the move up into the chicane for first? He does run deep, but it isn't quite enough for him to make the move. So the answer is no, he can't make the move. Although Levi, he's got a decent run. He's got his nose through. He is there. Can he make the move on Stacey for second place? And the answer is, as he comes into the corner, the right-hander, not quite. No, he doesn't. So he does get a much better exit. He's still close, but it's just still no cigar either. The battle for 4th place is also hotting up intensely. Steen is still in 4th place, but Pyatt is getting very frustrated indeed. He tries to go as deep as he can. It's him, Pyatt and Smith for 4th place. And as they go side by side on the exit, does have to lift off though, so Pyatt can't take 4th place on this occasion. Levi following Stacey every move he makes as well, so it's very tough indeed. And as they make their way over the line once again, nearing the halfway point of this race already. Boy, this has gone quickly. And side by side, can Son Levi do the best he can to try and take second place? It's a Roaring Pipes Maniacs 1-2 so far. But can the Aper boy make it through. Not on this lap. It's just interesting to watch the differences in laps. We saw that the two of them, Michael and Chris, were playing with the opposition. They were teasing their way through, but at Autumn Park, not quite so this time. It's much more of a challenge for them to try and retain the lead. And in fact, he's through. Chris Stacey is still in the lead of this race. Michael Steed, oh my goodness, contact between them. Just manages to hold it. Chris Stacey runs deep. Son Levi is definitely trying as hard as he can. He goes for driver's left-hand side as late as he can. Up the inside. Can he do it into the hairpin? Almost. A bit of contact. It pushes Stacey out wide, but he takes the lead. A bit of a wiggle on for Chris Stacey. He won't be happy there. But the number 6 is ahead of the number 7. Son Levi, therefore, back into the lead of this race. Goodbye, boys. Halfway through the race, it took him longer than we predicted, but he is back into the lead of the race. Although a bit of a lock-up from the front left on his car, so he is still pushing very hard indeed. And up towards the first corner they come. And indeed, there we go. So the gap is 0.603 ahead of Chris Stacey and Michael Steed for second and third. And let's have a look now to see what else is going on the circuit. Jamie Pyatt has finally gotten through on Steen for 4th and 5th place. Sam Smith, though, trying to follow him through. He's going to have to push quite hard in order to get the position, but I would not put it past him. He's looking very racy indeed. And as they come up towards the second corner, it's not quite working for them. Talbot, though, having a great battle with Cowan for 8th and 9th. Through the second corner, Cowan runs very deep indeed. Talbot's trying to watch this, and Steve Legale's enjoying this battle in 10th place. He wants to make it 8th place, and he could well do it yet. And as they break into the hairpin, very slow exit there from Cowan. Talbot had to readjust his line. So we're going to have to enjoy watching this through the S as they come. And I think he had to lift off a little bit there. He couldn't quite get the position. He's closing into Cowan each and every second now. And Steve Legale's enjoying this tremendously. Who's actually made it ahead of Matt Legale. So Steve ahead of Matt. Not sure what's happened there, but we'll have to investigate. And there we go, that's your answer. Sadly, Matt had a bit of a contact at the first chicane. Didn't work, and got a bit of contact, and sadly spun him out. Steve Legale, though, is looking quite interesting indeed. He's trying to make a move for 10th place. And Rocket and Koshkin having a good old battle for 12th and 13th at the first chicane. Koshkin now in 12th place. Rocket ran a little bit deep. Car looking a lot less abused than it was in race 1. Good old Edward. But as a quick recap then as to what's going on in the race, as we've passed the halfway stage, 17 after 30 minutes, we've had 11 laps completed on lap 12 currently, and 1.6 seconds is the gap between Son Levi and Chris Stacey. Michael Steed and Jamie Pyatt are in 3rd and 4th. Brody Steen and Sam Smith 5th and 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th is Sean Rogers, Ashley Cowan and Jeremy Talbot. Steve Legale's ahead of Matt Legale. Edward Rocket now ahead of Koshkin. And it's Andrew Scott, Martin Vindis, Alex Schmertz, Sean Jacobs, Glenn Collins and Fabrice, who are in the rounding out the top 19. And now 18 out of 13 minutes completed. Just enjoying what is a fantastic battle for 4th now between Pyatt and Steen. Steen behind Pyatt. He's closing in though. Does gap him a little bit as they come up towards the first chicane. Not quite going for the move, but Pyatt really getting onto 2 wheels as he shortcut the first chicane is not going to help any matters at all. And as we make our way up towards the second corner, so up towards the second corner they come now. And not much movement there so far. And as they come up towards the chicane this time then, not much happening. They're just braving it out, and they're being patient with the attacks. You've got to be patient with this kind of racing, because it can get much more tricky. Talbot runs very deep though in 8th place. He loses 8th, loses 9th, and loses 10th. Down from 8th to 11th. Extremely deep into the hairpin. Just locks up a wheel, pushes him out wide. Loses out to Cowan and both Legales. So Cowan now up into 8th place. He's got Steve Legale behind him. So as they very patiently make their way through the final corner and up to the line. Now up to the first corner they come. We've got 20 minutes gone, 10 minutes left to go, 13 laps completed, 14 laps are on then. And the battle for 4th and 5th is still very close indeed, because Pyatt's still in the lead of the race. But Brodie Steen giving it the best he can do in order to get the position. So anyway, through the S's they go. Pyatt still in 4th place, 5th place for Steen. However, they've got Sam Smith closing in very quickly behind him, and Stacey and Steed both also looking very racy for 2nd place. Through the final corner they go, going to be in the tow, so the two Mooring Post Maniacs boys are not quite nose to tail, but closing in significantly. And as they make their way up to the first corner once again, Pyatt running extremely deep indeed. Steen's going to really love the opportunity. No matter how deep Pyatt goes, he's going to keep 4th place, but he's going to lose all of that momentum he's been working hard to get. So as they make it up to the final or the final part of the first sector, and as they make their way up to the chicane and the hairpin, no changes there. And Brodie has actually got a great run through the final part of the S's up towards the final corner. Is that going to be enough? I don't really think so. And Steed now is closing up all over the back of Chris Stacey. Up towards the first corner they go. Is much going to happen here? It's in the tow. Can't quite do it though, I suspect. Nope, in fact he gets very close, but he does have to back out of it. As they make their way closer to the chicane, they've just come through the second corner. Again, not a lot's happened there. Chris Stacey doing a very good job, not of defending, but not really attacking either. He's just enjoying his own race. And a big lock up again there from Chris. It just seems to be the way he drives the car. He gets a big wiggle on though. So that could put pay to any of the impressions he's trying to make. And Michael with possibly the closest he's been in some time up towards the final corner. It's going to be crucial he doesn't get past here. He's going to want to sit behind Chris, who runs very deep indeed. He's pushing as hard as he can. And the slipstream will have to do for Michael, who is going to have to bear with what goes on. Up towards the first corner, still no move making between the two of them. Dean, though, is pushing again on Pyatt, who goes very deep indeed coming to the first corner. Pyatt, it seems to be his ideal line, but it just pushes the car unnaturally wide, I think. I don't think he's enjoying it. But nonetheless, Sam Smith, who's in 6th place, is enjoying just watching this from behind. Through the second corner and up towards the chicane they come. And Sam Smith has actually closed it significantly to Brody, so Dean in 5th place at the moment, now having to deal with Sam Smith in 6th, or in 6th. So as they make their way up to the final corner once again, it's just about being patient. You've got to bear in mind that you're trying to follow the guy ahead of you, which obviously makes sense. But as they make their way up towards the first corner, 25 out of 30 minutes, so not too long left to go. And Jamie Pyatt once again had to fend off from the attacks of Brody Steen, who is trying very hard to get past, and he is. I do suspect he might still get past. We'll just have to wait and see. But Son Levi is just another display on how quick he is. 4.4 seconds now ahead of Chris Stacey. He's not even pushing, I don't believe, at this point. But as they make their way up to the S's once again, and through the corners they go once again. Michael Steed can't quite make it for 3rd. Steed can't make it for 2nd place. He's in 3rd at the moment, can't make it for 2nd. Trying to close in. And pushing the car a little bit wide as Chris Stacey once again for 2nd place. He's getting very close indeed. Is this going to be the moment where he can do it? Trying to get into the toe. He is actually closing in significantly. He's going to have to duct out of the slipstream. He gets as close as he can. He's on the brakes. He's that close. You see, he's trying not to overtake by this point. They're trying to go for the team points, which is sensible. But Chris Stacey goes very deep. He goes straight on at the chicane. He goes very deep. He loses a whole load of time. Michael might not have any choice in trying to go past now. And Steen as well is also closing in on Jamie Pyatt for 4th place. Steed though up the inside for 3rd and 2nd place. Does back out of it though, so with just a handful of minutes left, it's all turning up now. Brody Steen on Jamie Pyatt, 4th and 5th. Is he going to look up the inside coming into the chicane, or in the hairpin rather? He's certainly going to give it an attempt. Doesn't quite work out though. Runs just a little bit deep. And a wiggle on there for Steen could mean he loses the great run he was having just a moment ago. Nonetheless, they carry on through the S's once again. And they continue. 2 minutes left on the clock, so we'll probably get 3 more laps. Son Levi about to cross the line now. But yeah, over the line he comes now with 28 minutes left. And in fact, Michael was slower than Chris Stacey on that one, but he is still very close indeed. The battle for 4th place is closing in once again as well. It's 3 cars now for 4th. Pirate is defending masterfully in order to keep his 4th place, but Brody Steen has challenged him every step of the way. Up towards the second corner they all come now. And they do seem to be closing in. This battle for 4th place does seem to be closing in on the battle for 2nd place as well. So it could be very close come the end of the race. We've only got a couple of laps left to go. Chris Stacey again runs wide. Michael Steen having to throw it at the inside because there's nowhere else for him to go. Doesn't make anything of it, but it was very tight there. Through the S's once more. It's just extremely close. There's not much more we can say, really. And Matt Legale's gone into the barrier. Oh dear, coming out of the hairpin. He was in 8th place, I believe, and I just flicked back to have a look to see what was happening, and I just saw his car rotating massively. It was a big shame for him, but he must have just dropped it on the exit of the hairpin. Last lap, okay, so we have got 100% complete, so 20 out of 21. This is the last lap. 5.9 seconds now, the gap between Son Levi and Chris Stacey. Michael Steed, though, is also getting very close indeed. What else is going to happen? It's going to be close. The battle for 4th, 5th and 6th is also raging on as ever. So, and Steen then trying to make a move at the inside of the second corner. He can't quite do it, though. Pyatt is trying absolutely everything. But luckily, he's just managing to hold on to it. But it's going to be close over the line. Son Levi, just a couple of corners left to go. He's going very sideways through the final couple of corners there. He's really enjoyed this racing tonight. He's drifting, he's showboating. Not the most sportsmanship of behaviour, but considering he's about to win both races tonight, he's deservedly done it. Son Levi takes the 2nd win of tonight. 2 wins from 2 races. I wonder what he could do for the rest of the season if he does come back. Chris Stacey is going to take 2nd place ahead of Michael Steed, but it is just going to be Jamie Pyatt ahead of Brody Steen and Sam Smith for the top 6. Following on, what else is going on the circuit? Matt Legale was just let through by Steve Legale, so it's going to be Matt ahead of Steve for 10th and 11th. The 12th place will be Edward Rocket. Within this will be in 13th. 14th place for Smirch. Sean Jacobs 15th. 16th for Koshkin. That's quite a close little battle actually. Coming through yes is now. Who's going to take it? I believe Jacobs is just going to have the run to the line. He's ahead coming up towards the final corner where he runs quite deep. Koshkin has got the inside line. Is he going to pull ahead? He's going to put his nose in. He's not quite going to get the run. So 15th and 16th is just going to be Jacobs ahead of Koshkin. And then Collins will be 17th, 18th for Scott. And it will be Fabrice in 19th place. But 5.6 seconds the lead between Levi and Stacey at the end. A great display from the both of them. I really enjoyed tonight's racing. Let us know what you've enjoyed, what you've thought at the start of that. What have you enjoyed about the race? Stopping out on the circuit now. What a race is all I can say. As they make it up to the pit lane now. 2 races from 2 there for Son Levi, which is going to mean a great complement of points for him. But and that will be it for our racing tonight. Son Levi ahead then of Chris Stacey and Michael Steed. Jamie Pyatt, Brody Steen, Sam Smith, Sean Rogers, Ashley Cowan, Jeremy Talbot and Matt Legale, your top 10. Then it was Steve de Gale, Edward Rocket, Martin Vindis, Alex Schmertz, Sean Jacobs, Pavel Koshkin, Glenn Collins, Andrew Scott, Fabrice Bourignon will be your top 19. And let us know in the comments what you thought of that racing tonight. We've really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can get a couple of drivers in to interview in the green room. If not, we will leave that. We're not coming in. Okay, well that will be it for the broadcast. And I've really enjoyed tonight's racing. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. So from me, Dan Marr, and from all the drivers here at Curitiba for round 3, for rounds 4 and 5. Oh, let's try that again. For rounds 5 and 6, the third meeting of the 11th season of the Race Department Touring Car Championships. From me, Dan Marr, and from everyone else, until next time, it's goodbye from me.